Hello, everybody. Welcome to the LILITH series. I'm your astrologer, Adama, and I'm here with one of my favorite people, especially one of my favorite people in the beauty industry. And I would like to call my alma mater as well, Ouidad, the Queen of Curl, founder of Ouidad, the Curl Experts, a salon and product line based and founded in New York City, but also in South Florida and all over the country. So I would love to welcome Ouidad.
Hello, Adama.
How are you? How was your intro?
It's like home again. We're together again.
Right? It's so
Yeah.
funny. So I met Ouidad. Of course, I worked for the company. I was 20, I want to say 23 or 4. And it was like my first, I had a little, internship, like whatever, consulting before that. But that was like my, bigger experience in professional. And it's funny, I actually worked for the manager who I worked with back then, again now. But this definitely was an eye-opening brand to work for. I'm a naturally curly girl, even though you probably won't believe it. I do wear, extensions, but I have naturally curly hair, and I actually went natural and stopped relaxing my hair when I first started working at Ouidad. I was just so inspired by her message and her story. And I mean, she inspires me as an entrepreneur. Her story I know extremely well. And I just thought that, it would be so valuable for all of you to learn from a female entrepreneur who built a multi-million dollar brand herself with her husband and her family. And it's so exciting that her daughter is actually also a hairstylist and works, closely with her mother as well. So Ouidad, I just really want to. I always start out my interviews asking about little you when you were young and full of life and ambition. Where are you from, and how did you get to where you are in terms of living in the United States and becoming a hairstylist?
Okay. This is a big question, lots of parts to it. So, actually, I am from Beirut, Lebanon. I'm one of 4 in the family, and I come from an extremely independent family. It's not male dominated. They celebrated the women in the family. There's my sister, my mom, and 2 brothers and dad. I was very fiery, extremely independent, almost tomboyish. I broke every rule that's possible, and I was raised by a mom that is the ultimate femme fatale, finishing schools, 6 languages, very proper,
Wow.
as the extreme. If it was black, I'm white. It's just the way we were. That was my personality. I was supported by my dad and mom to be and to have a voice and to be who we are. Growing up in Lebanon, I have curly hair. The hair is gorgeous there. Everybody has either curly or just real nice curls and wavy hair. And when we came to the United States, and the reason we came to the United States, like a lot of other stories, my dad lost everything in Beirut during the Civil War, and then we ended up going to Syria to live with some of our relatives, and then that went into an uproar. Now, as it is today, and my father has had enough and said, that's it. He sold everything, took whatever he can, and we came on an ocean liner to the U.S. and entered through the New York City Harbor in 1966. And when I came here, I was 11 years old, 12 years old, and we went to school right away. And I started playing with everything I can. Wanted to do hair, wanted to be a manager, wanted to run the school, wanted to be the counselor, wanted to be everything I can be. I just couldn't sit still.
Capricorn.
Long story short, that's how we came to the United States. And then we were put into school. I ended up going to a high school, and I didn't understand a word of English. So I had this teacher in the front of the classroom, just with the mouth opening, closing, and I couldn't decipher anything she was saying, as well as my sister was sitting there going,
wow,
this is hard. But that's how we were thrown into it, just to get used to it, to get involved as much as we can. Then I decided to get out of there and I joined a vocational school, which I could do things with my hand rather than just sit and have somebody talk at me. And there was a hairdressing class going on in there. I signed up for it, and there was this well-known hairdresser that was teaching advanced courses at the university and had asked one of the students to assist him. And of course, I volunteered right away. I jumped right on there. I wanted to run his class. And that's how I met him. He turned out to be my mentor, and that's how it changed my life. I started at the age of 14, 15, assisting him. And then he took us to Europe. It was very, very advanced and right out there, but more than I've ever seen. Even today, there are salons that will not do that. But we went to Europe. We went everywhere taking advanced courses. And when I was in London, I met this artistic team that was working with the theater. They loved my work. They signed me up. I worked with them. And that's how I got into the industry. And through there, I ended up coming to New York City with the Broadway play Ouidad. That's how I ended up in New York in 1978.
Okay. So you were known backstage as the Queen of Curl, right?
Yes, I was. I was known as the curl person.
Mm-hmm.
Every hairdresser that was working on curly hair, or we had the wigs to work on, they didn't know what to do. They just threw them at me. I'm like, give it to that girl. She's like the queen of curls. She's it. She is the curl girl. Give her everything that you want, anything that we wanted. And they put me on a program almost where I was on 911 calls if there was any of the sets, whether it's a movie or another theater or ad agency, whatever, and there were curly hair, they would call my team and I would be sent out with Danny and we would go and I would do the curly hair. So yes, I was known as a queen of curl for a long, long time.
Still are.
And then CBS ended up tagging me back in the early 90s with it.
Oh, okay. So I guess so coming off of, you're in New York City, you're working in Broadway, you're getting that Queen of Curl thrown around. How did you get from there to, I want to start a business and start a product line and kind of expand this more than just me working backstage or being just one person being a hairstylist?
When I worked with curly hair, Ouidad is synonymous with curls. We did start the curly hair segment in the United States. We were the first salon to cater to curls back in 1984 and actually revolutionized the whole hair care industry into opening this segment that was never, ever addressed, which literally blows my mind. It's a no-brainer. So when I was working on Broadway, doing ads, doing everything that I wanted to do, and I met Peter at the time, and Peter was in the restaurant business, and he was doing very well. And we both fell in love, got married, and we're both driven. So we decided to open a business. And we could only afford to open not even a full business, but we can only do one. He wanted a restaurant, I wanted a hair salon, and we ended up flipping heads a salon, tails restaurant. Thank God it was heads, because I would have been an awful.
I know.
I'd be yelling at everybody, "You're lucky you have food."
You'll be like, "I wanted to open a salon. I'm here."
You get right. And so heads, I was so excited, and we decided that it would be a salon, of course, a curly salon. And the more I worked with the hair and the revelation of the people and the comfort and the way they felt and the way that I've changed so many lives. And I know it's only hair, but it's so important. It's who you are and what you are.
I know. It really, I think that's one thing you taught our industry is that you can't always dictate and think what women want. If you've never been through the experience, like you can't just say that, all women want straight hair, but you've never been through that experience of having curly hair. So I think that's one thing that you've taught is that authenticity of people do actually want to be themselves. If you can give them the tools, they need to do that.
Absolutely. And that's how the salon, when we decided opening the salon was so difficult. It was so, so hard. We drew this business plan, went to banks. They would laugh at us. Majority of them, this is back in 1980, 81. They would look at us as if we had two heads. It's curly hair salon. You might as well burn your money. Nobody would pay attention to us. It was really, really difficult. And so we decided to beg, borrow. We even thought about stealing, but we decided not to. And through this whole process, Reagan was in the White House at the time, and he decided to expand with the Small Business Administration, and they were giving out loans to female and an immigrant. And bingo, it was me. It was perfect. So we went and we applied, and it took 2 years to get it, and it was $25,000. That was it. But back then, it was major, major help.
Yeah, it's a lot of money back then.
Yeah, so we ended up getting it. And then the difficulties trying to rent a place, and everybody wanted to know what kind of business. And you say a hair salon, they're panicky for the hair salon. You say it's not chemicals, it's only for curly hair, then it's so foreign. And then when we finally opened it, I couldn't get the word out. Everything, every media, every newscaster, everything, every magazine, everything you saw was straight hair, blown out, flat iron, and highlighted.
Yep.
There aren't that many real blondes in the world.
No.
It's amazing. And so we were really, there's that saying where, you walk down the road that least traveled. But we actually had to create the road, build the road. And you know that saying from the movie, which I love, build it, they will come.
Yeah.
From Dreams of, Field of Dreams. And that's exactly what it was. When we opened the doors, I tried to go to beauty editors and talk to them about curly hair, and they would all be sitting there with their hair flat ironed and rolling their eyes and waiting for me to finish to graciously thank me and get me out of their way so they could get back to their work. But it was the clients. When they first started coming, they were so hesitant. They were afraid because they were always told that their look was not acceptable. Absolutely not acceptable. And when they would come into the salon, we would teach them. I would work with them. I would explain. I feel bad for the first 2 years of the clients that came in because I had so much pent up. I wanted to give them everything. I wanted to teach them and to empower them. And when I did their hair, and they, after they finished, they really liked it. They really felt, you could see their body language. They would stand up proud. They would stand up tall. And they felt really good. And that's what helped us to push it a little bit more. The word of mouth, the clients, that really helped us push the industry.
Yeah. I think it's so important. I think even now with marketing, remembering authenticity, because I feel like now, especially with the internet being invented, or not being invented, but it's become now, this is our platform, especially in these times. Yes. Listening to the people and not just subscribing to a standard that someone else said. And I think that's what you and Peter really did a great job of, and not just getting discouraged because a beauty editor said no and a whoever loan guy said no, but you had that customer because you knew in your heart that people do want to embrace this authentic part of themselves.
Absolutely. We opened in 84, and it took us 5 years of nonstop. No was not an option for either of us. It was, if you said no, to me, that's fuel. I'm coming at you, and I'm going to convince you. And it took so long to just try to get them to understand it. And when the power of the individual, when people realize that they can have their voice, their hair, their look, that they are who they are, that they even have to convert or march to the beat or look like everybody else. That's when the wave, you could see it. The revolution just started. And my clientele was an incredible, and still is an incredible clientele. We go from extreme, high, powerful executives, lawyers, you name it, to young girls who are just entering middle school, who go into a rough stage in their life, to women who lived all their life and they have this little voice in the back, even though their parents are gone, of telling them, do something with your hair before we go out. It's like saying, honey, I love you, but you're really not acceptable. And it's just not right. So
I
really,
wish you were around, or I knew you when I was in middle school.
You probably were. I was there.
Yeah, you were. I just wasn't in New York City yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one particular person that I really want to share with you and share with everybody else, just to understand that a little thing makes a huge difference. And this young woman went to prestigious schools and she went also to law school. She was applying to the 3 top law firms in New York City. Gorgeous, long, reddish curls that to die for. She walked in the salon and everybody just stopped. Huge, beautiful, peach skin, gorgeous. I was working on my client and I saw her at the front desk, and the salon's spacious and pretty big salon, and I could see through my mirror. I could see the whole salon the way I designed it. I could stand at my station and see the whole salon inside and out just to see how it's operating. And this woman was in tears. She must have been in her early 20s, in tears at the front desk, surprisingly. So I couldn't understand it. So I went and she had an appointment with me. She had a consultation. When she sat in my chair, she told me that she's on the last round of her interviews, and HR called her into the office. This is of the law firm. She's going in for paralegal and told her that she needs to do something with her hair because it does not look professional. This is an Ivy League grad student that did so much in her life. That was, to me, my blood, you know me, my blood pressure, the roof, I couldn't even deal with it. And I just said to her, I stood there, I don't know her, I've never even met her, and I said, that's not acceptable. You're going to erase your personality and who you are for a job? You worked so hard to get where you are here today. Who are these people telling you that you don't exist? If they want to hire you because you're good, your looks has nothing to do with it. You cannot erase who you are. You are who you are. You are unique. And I told her about the whole story when my sister and I first came to the U.S. They made fun of us because we had huge curly hair. All of the kids in school, they called us the Mongol sisters, which were a boxing team from Italy. These big, huge, curly-haired, ugly guys that were boxers. They just, typical high school or junior high school names. And I told her, I said, all of that, we went through everything. You are not going to erase yourself. And I just went on, explained how beautiful her hair. I told her what I could do with her hair. And at the end of it, she stopped crying. She looked at me. I think she was not expecting this tidal wave to come at her. And she said to me, she said, can you make me look presentable? I said, you are just the way you are. You are presentable. This is, honestly, tell them to go to hell. You are not working there. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it. You're not going to work. Finally, she said, okay, trim my hair, clean it up, style it for me. I'm going to come in tomorrow before I go in the meeting. Style it for me, and I'm going to go with it curly. I said, okay. She came in, I did her hair, she went there, and she was meeting who then will be her boss. Yeah. Last meeting. He walked in, and he looked at her, and she said, he looked right at my hair, and I went right up to him. I said, good morning. I sat down, and I said, before we start the meeting, I want you to know I got to this level because of my capabilities. If my hair is going to get in the way, then I don't need to work here. This is the way I am. I already cleaned my hair, and it is who I am. So if you don't want me, I can't work here. I thank you for the time. He stopped and he said, you start today. Because she had...
That makes me tear up.
Oh, it was wonderful. She turned out to be the star of that law firm. She was the revolutionary paralegal young lady, and years later she became one of the senior partners.
Wow.
Can you imagine over there?
It's just a shame, and I mean, I think now in New York City there's laws against hair discrimination, but it's been this way for as long as I can remember. As long as I remember, even going to school, like getting bullied, like if my hair wasn't looking a certain way, or just feeling uncomfortable, and then that sticks with you later on in life and affects your self-esteem. So I feel like you're not only, this isn't just a beauty brand. You've changed people's lives. You changed my life. I wouldn't have gone natural.
Exactly. And it's not changing your life, is giving you the voice that you've always had and you weren't allowed to use it
Yeah.
because they didn't know. It was the fear of not knowing how to work with it as far as my industry. As far as I remember when I first started doing the newscasters for the television, I would go in and they were literally, there's a list of what they could do and could not do. And as far as their hair is concerned, it has to be, and I quote, erased, so it is not distracting. So you just, yeah, erase was the word, to just make it, and if you recall, they all had that straight hair, just nowhere. It's just face, mouth, and let me talk at. Now it's everywhere. Now they can wear their blouses, short, look, everything, curly hair, whatever they want. So it wasn't addressed. I think it was the fear of the unknown, not knowing what it is, and not being able to have a voice. And when they realized, I don't understand it, there's more people with curly hair than there are with straight hair. How did it conform to just everybody needing to be blown out and straight? It's only because it was the unknown. Nobody knew how to do it.
Yeah, societal standards.
I would teach hairdressers that were older than I that would come in. And they'd have aha moments and say, I was really scared. Shit. In school, they taught us how to blow the hair straight to cut it. I didn't know what to do. And now there's no way in hell I will do anything except celebrate it, allow it to be what it is, and stand for who we are.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful and powerful message. So I think, so where do you see Ouidad going as a, like, I think so there's Ouidad the brand, and then there's Ouidad you.
Yeah.
So my question is, where are you right now with Ouidad as a person and your interests, and then what do you see with your brand as another entity right now at this point?
I think that they're following my vision. They do understand the heart and soul of it, and it's on track to stay as educating as much as possible and to empower everybody. And today there are so many brands for curly hair, and that's what makes it so fabulous. It's almost going to overpower any other sector or segment of hair, because curly hair right now is the most brands out there, which is ironic. Go from nothing to everything. And that's what makes me so proud and so happy, because I was the beginning of it all. We created it, and it was because of Ouidad, the company, Peter and I, to make it where it is today. They're pursuing it, they're taking it internationally, and they're just going to go forward. And I think they're going to go and give it also, to make it feasible and reachable to everybody. And that's where the brand's going. So it's got a nice heart, it's sensitive, it's caring, it's inclusive, and it's big. And it's really, I'm so proud of it. So the legacy goes on. Me, I am actually at a point in my life where I'm living my best life, and I'm giving forward a great deal. So I'm doing a great deal of consulting and mentoring women entrepreneurs and helping them with their endeavors, both in beauty and other segments of the business. I just finished writing a book about It's called My Curl World, and it's about building Ouidad and my history and how Ouidad came about. And that should go on Amazon hopefully in May next month. That's my goal. And also we have, Peter and I started in 2004, Curls for Cure, our philanthropy. And that started after I got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2002. The same age that my mother was diagnosed. And unfortunately, my mother back then, they didn't have the technology and the research for it, so we lost her. And after 2 years of treatments, and I survived it, and I fought my way through it, I decided that my fight does not end there. So Peter and I started in 2004 Curls for Cure, and we raised money to fund researchers. The Breast Cancer Research Foundation, we partnered with them. And we're almost up to $600,000. And Peter and I actually match all the donations that come through Curls for Cures to go into the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. We match them dollar for dollar, and that has been a big thing for us, and that's what we're doing. So I'm mentoring, I'm writing, I'm teaching, I'm working, and I'm consulting and also advising to the hair brands.
That's so fabulous, Ouidad.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's lots of fun. In traveling, but like you, none of us can
Not
travel.
not right now, but there's always the future to look forward to.
Yeah.
I actually want to rewind a little bit and ask you more about your product business. Because I remember, if I'm remembering correctly, 1996 was when you first launched online.
Yes.
So, so tell me a little bit how that came about. And you guys were internet pioneers because e-com
Actually, we
wasn't that
were. You
big
should
back
have
then.
seen the size of that computer. It was amazing. It was, if you saw the movie, seriously, Steve Jobs movie with his first computer, that's a computer we had. It
Wow,
was
like the
really
big.
huge, huge. It would take half of the desk. What happened was it started out with clients traveling and going everywhere. And in 1987, we had Black Friday. And a lot of our clients dispersed and went all throughout the country. The market crashed. A lot of businesses went out of business. A lot of people had to flee and live everywhere. And the people who loved the deep treatment, they would call us and ask us to send them the deep treatment and send them the products. And those at the time were products that I was making in the back in the sink, whether it would be my home or in the office. We would work on it, and then we started packaging it and doing it. And we would ship it, and little by little, that started getting bigger and bigger. So Peter decided that he said, we have a mail order business going. We should start an e-commerce. And the guy who is third in command right now at Google was a young guy that was your age when he first started with us. And he said,
Wait, is it Alfred?
I just came from India and I'm going to work with you a little bit and I can help you do this program. And he wrote up the whole program. He and Peter put the project together. And that's how we started our e-commerce. And we were the first beauty website to start the e-commerce. So we started, it was like another revolution, but it was great. And we didn't even plan it. It just happened. Then I think a year and a half into it, he came to tell Peter that there's this new company opening up and they asked him to go and he has to go because it's really exciting and they do computer stuff, he said. It's called Google.
And you're like, yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah, hopefully you'll do well.
Bye.
Bye. And so that's how, yes, in 1996, the e-commerce started. And for the longest time, we built a really strong business.
Yeah.
So that was incredible.
Yeah, I remember it being like a substantial part of the business, which other brands that I've been at, they hadn't yet really prioritized e-com. So most of it was brick and mortar. But I was like, wow, this is like a e-com person's dream. Like this is just so easy because you establish it very well. The email marketing was, especially for around that time, very robust, and all the social and everything. So I just take it as like, I feel like if you can dream it, you can build it, and you don't need to like have all the bells and whistles. I feel like as long as you just launch something, you can make it a reality if you really believe in it.
I want to say something. I agree with you 100%. And what we are going through right now is really going to humble us and bring us to exactly what you just said and what Peter and I experienced is that if you dream it, you can build it. I think that we were misdirected by just an example. One particular woman I'm working with right now, and she's opening her business and she needs a CFO and a COO and a CEO. And I looked at her and I said, you have to be all of that at the beginning. Yep. First of all, you want to have the money to spread it out. You need the money to build your own business. And you need the knowledge to know how to do everything. So when you do take on people, you could work with them, you understand it, and they'll understand you, and you give the guidance and build a better team. And I think going through what we are going through today is really, it's a horrible thing, but it's the best thing to bring us back to understand that we are all capable, that yes, we can step back, take the time. This is teaching us to step back, take a deep breath, and do it because you can do it.
Yeah. It's very interesting actually because so Saturn in Aquarius is that's it's what you said is what Saturn in Aquarius, which is what's happening right now, is trying to teach everyone. But for everyone, Ouidad is actually a Capricorn. And a lot of these energies that have been, you know, breaking down some power structures in order to rebuild something better are in Capricorn. So I think right now, especially, we're all experiencing that Capricorn energy of you have the power. It's just very interesting your story. You were just so driven, and that's Capricorn energy. It's about power, and it's about working hard and working slow and diligently to then build, a skyscraper brick by brick. And if you don't know how to do something, you figure it out and you get scrappy and learn how to do it. And that's really, I think, what this time is teaching a lot of people. Businesses have to have people work from home, or they're running a lot of their events online when they didn't think that was a possibility before. So I think I completely agree with you, and definitely something I've learned myself during this time.
I think it's a tough time, but it's a great time for all of us. Just recompose, if that's the right word, my lack of English, and really put it together and work, because I'm actually learning how to work the computer. I've cut hair for 41 years. I've had assistants all over, everything I wanted to do. I'm taking courses to understand the whole Microsoft program. I want to learn how to really work with it.
Yeah.
This is the time.
Yeah, this is the time. I feel so. My next question, actually, this is like a perfect segue into that, but like, what was your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur, but not only that, as a female entrepreneur? Because even in 2020, the stigma still sticks with sexism in the workplace, or obviously, like, internally within, a lot of women maybe not feeling enough, or thinking maybe their ideas aren't as good, and just not leaning in as much as they could. So what's a challenge that you overcame? How did you overcome it? And what would be your advice to other women who could be going through something similar?
That is an excellent question, Adaman. I did have a lot of challenges. Skip the fact that challenge of curly hair, they should accept curly hair, that curly hair is definitely important. It is part of who we are. That was difficult enough. Yeah. And being a woman, especially going in front of, at the time, all the bankers and all the business people, mostly of them men, even renting a space, renting my first salon. I remember walking in at 846 7th Avenue, walked in, and it was a Frenchman who owned the building. I said, I want the penthouse. They opened the salon. It's going to be fabulous. I'm going to do this and this and this. And he waited till I finished speaking. He said to me, are you married? I said, yes, I am. And he said, so when will your husband come here so we can have a contract? So hold. 5 years. I stayed in that building for almost 15 years, and every single year I tortured John. Every year. Every time I saw him, I would say to him, where's your wife? I need to have a conversation.
Don't mess with Ouidad.
That's right. And so you're absolutely correct. It was difficult. And if you recall, when you started with us, majority of my team, I purposely hired them.
Yeah.
It was mostly women. I wanted it all to be women. I wanted to be as powerful as they can. I find women are solution solvers. They can be problem makers, but that's their secondary, and that's only some time of the month. But in overall, they're incredibly problem solvers, and when they bond, they really bond. And it's not a superficial bond like a the boys club. That's all superficial. As long as you are below me, you don't touch my money, we're buddies. Otherwise, you're out. I'm going to cut you up. Yeah. Women don't do that. They work together, even though the reputation is that it's the opposite, that they don't build each other. That is so not true. I had the most incredible international group of immigrants like myself that were so strong and so powerful, and because of them, Ouidad became what Ouidad is.
Yeah. What are some of the countries the team was from?
Trinidad, Colombia, Ukraine, Hungary, Romania, Kosovo, Puerto Rico, Dominican, which is Anna, who ran my whole place. There was a Syrian team member, and Albanian, Greek, Cyprus. We were, and we had an American, which was sweet.
Was it Morgan?
Peter.
Okay.
Morgan, actually, yes, Morgan is another one. That's right,
I love how I'm
Massachusetts.
acting like I don't know any of these answers.
Yes, Morgan was there too. But it was mostly women. So what do I have to tell them? It's almost a cliche, but it's a fact. First of all, the most important thing is that you have to do what you love. You definitely have to do what you love. You can't just do a job to survive because you have to do a job. Because you know what? You'll always be at the stage where you're only somewhat surviving. So I don't want it to be cliche. Definitely, you have to love what you do what you love. And the most important thing is really believe in yourself and go with your gut. You can't fail. You cannot fail.
Yeah. I think as women too, we're taught to not go with our gut or intuition. But that's something that especially with feminine energy, that is our strength. And I do see, especially working in the beauty industry, I love it because I work with a lot of different women. It's a very, even though there's the people at the top who a lot are men, but everyone else, a lot of us are women, and I do love to see strong women every single day. But I do see that intuition is now taking when there's a lot of women in the workplace, intuition becomes more prominent, versus kind of going on fact. Like I think that's one thing that I struggle with sometimes is analysis paralysis. Like we can sit here and analyze ecom numbers all day, but at the end of the day, gut, like it was your gut that led you to open this successful business. Did you
That's
and
right.
Peter sit down and be like, oh, well, there's 20 salons and 5 of them are curly and they're doing well. So this is no, you went with your intuition. And I think we're taught to kind of not do that. And that's risky, but I think that's the number one business practice. Even Lilith Astrology, it was obviously intuition. I wasn't like, what can I do with this? What money can I make? It's like, no, I know that there's a need for this, and this just makes sense for me.
Exactly. So that's what you did. You believed in what you did. You love what you're doing, and you go with your gut feeling. Yeah. That would be my advice. I think leaning at the table, coming to the table, having a seat at the table, I think it's really great. I couldn't give a damn about that. You stand on that table, you do what you want to do, and it doesn't matter how many people are around, because we're all equal. Equal.
We are.
Yeah.
And I think this time is bringing that up too, for sure.
Yeah.
I think
before we started, I have to share this. I got so excited about it. Whether it's true or not, I'm going to say it. New Zealand are rid of coronavirus, led by a woman prime minister.
Yeah, I've heard that, and there's other female-led coronavirus that it's like over.
That are doing better because they're problem solvers. Yeah. It's not about money. It's about social. It's about life. It's about people. And money came. When we started the business, it wasn't about how are we going to make money. I didn't give a damn how we're going to make money. What I wanted was trying to find somebody to do my hair. I have curly hair. I can't imagine that the whole beauty industry doesn't know how to do curly hair. And it was all about the love of it and teaching it and helping. And education's what built Ouidad, is what really, really empowered the brand so much, was teaching other hairdressers. And we couldn't even teach enough. Yeah. We would be booked solid at the beginning. I would do 3 classes a month, and they were draining, which meant we were 30 days in a row straight, because on Sunday and Mondays when we were off training somewhere. I'd here 5 days in training. And the demand was so high. It was all through education.
And this is this is the certified salon program where you went and taught other stylists at other salons how to do it. How to do the rake and
spreading
shake.
The word.
Yeah. So it's called the rake and shake and carve and slice.
Very good. That's
and they're both patented.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I want to say my favorite product still today is the comb. The
The double
double,
detangler?
yeah, the double detangler, and I love deep treatment. Deep treatment's good.
That was the first product. That product, I think I started with it in 1980 before the salon even existed.
Wow.
It was all formulating, putting products together. I knew that I couldn't use products that were heavy, that would weigh the hair down or would suffocate it. It needed protein, it needed sulfites, it needed moisture, and I combined a whole bunch of products. And finally, I took courses and I went and I worked with a private chemist and we made it. And I used to make it in little batches. And that's what really started the mail order in the e-commerce, with people asking us to please send the deep treatment. And that is a lifeline to curls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so it's very, I mean, this is what I teach too with manifestation techniques and law of attraction is put yourself out there, do what you love and feel passion for it, and just know that you are going to make a living and survive off of doing what you love, and that all the things just kind of fell into place for you, even though there may have been some resistance. You're like, no, I know this is going to work. Can't tell me anything. And it did.
Exactly.
It's your prime example of law of attraction.
And you feel it and it's coming. It's just, I never took the time to step back and say, okay, now I could see it, it's going to come. I was just I honestly just dove in and it was like quicksand. Next thing I know, 30 years later, and the business is booming, and so many wonderful people that joined the brand and the company and met so many people, and it's growing. And it was just out of love, out of passion, out of something that meant a great deal to me. I go crazy when I hear that do something with your hair or why you wearing that outfit. Those words just
So annoying.
frizz me. I go crazy. It's just unacceptable.
Yeah. I think this time too is really authenticity right now is that is, I think, a huge thing right now. Even to the point where, if a celebrity is complaining, like I think Ellen was on people were a little pissed at her because she's like, oh, I feel like I'm in jail, but it's like, okay, well, you're in your mansion and
yeah,
you have
huge
millions of dollars. There's people who are literally in prison right now getting coronavirus and don't have care, or there's people in ICU in prison. So I think people are now waking up to even the celebrities, like even these people who are, upper echelon. You need to come down to earth because the rest of us are already here and we're just kind of tired of the fake crap at this point.
So you worked with me for years and I was totally against celebrities. I don't know if you recall, I didn't want a celebrity endorsement, even though the e-commerce, everybody, that's all they wanted. I didn't care about who came in. Stuff like that didn't matter to me. My celebrities were my clients, the real people. I think we have inflated that society, the celebrities, or as you addressed it, the upper echelons. They are lacking the humbleness of what made them. They are lacking the human touch. For example, somebody that such a contradiction to her actions and her words. Let's speak about Ellen. She's known to be giving, 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 but that's material. That's only material. So the true you comes out by feeling you're in prison when you are, as you said, in this beautiful house that nobody else can afford and you own how many of them?
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad that they don't even think. And that's why I think this is a perfect time. We're all getting humbled and we all have to really understand and learn and work together.
Yeah.
You said Sandrielle does her own right now, who's my daughter. She has her own hair salon here in Fort Lauderdale. She works for passion. She works for love. She really is not a go-getter as far as money's concerned, but she's a go-getter because she believes in what she's doing. So she and I, since we've been locked up in here and not in prison, in the love of our home, that we have been actually volunteering and making food to a shelter every Wednesday. But the shelter is no longer just a shelter and the homeless shelter. It's people who are like you and me who can't pay their bills because they're not getting paid. and they're going with their family, picking up food to eat.
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think this time is needed.
Yeah.
You're getting way out of hand.
Yeah. That's the entitlement.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think being grateful is it's an emotion that, I mean, I'm not going to say bucket all Americans into being spoiled, but I mean, a lot, like, my father's from, third world country. You're from, a different country. Like, I've just been privy to conversations of immigrants. So I
Yeah.
grew up, like, I'm grateful for living in the US, but sometimes my peers who may have not had that experience are just not. And like having to stay home in your own home, it's like a travesty, but it's like, it's humbling you. Like, you can't travel and do whatever you want. No, you need to stay in so you can protect other people. So they're used to not hearing no, but I think it's humbling to be like, oh, wait. Or I have to wear a face mask. Like, there's people have to wear, like, masks when they go out because of, bomb smoke. Like, it's in other
Yeah.
countries. So I think it's humbling us as a nation. And it's very interesting. There's a reason for it astrologically why it exploded here more than some of the other countries. It's because we need that lesson. I hate to say it because it's just not a good situation, but sometimes from crisis can come more positive mindset. And
I agree. I think we are going to get readjusted. It's such a young nation. I know if you recall, I said I'm glad it became heads than tails, because if it was a restaurant and if I was the hostess, I'd be yelling at everybody. They're lucky they have food to eat.
yeah,
I mean that.
yeah. Or even just the essential workers too. It's now spotlighting, people who work, if you work at a grocery store, or you're a sanitation worker, or you work in the subway and MTA and all these, or you're a nurse, working at Mount Sinai here in New York, or like, we don't think about, I mean, I think I say thank you and I'm polite to people when I'm getting
Yeah.
service and all that stuff, but I feel like even more so now it's highlighting, like, these are the jobs that really matter and what keep us going as people and as a nation. Obviously everyone matters, but they're really doing difficult work. And
Yeah.
I think now we're realizing, oh wow, like, this is important, these jobs. So yeah, no more celebrities. It's all about, like, the normal essential workers.
I think that's what it should do. That's exactly where it should go. And I have to say, and I'm proud of doing it. I know I had a lot of pushback from my teams about it, but I was not a fan of celebrity. My celebrities were my clients. Those are the real people, my team. And that was the most important thing.
Yeah. And you can even see now that's marketing now with UGC, user generated content, that came about because people realize, oh, especially with social media, like, I want to see how it really looks. I don't want to see it on someone whose hair was done for 10 hours. Like, I want to see,
Right.
how did you do it at home? And that to me, if I see a normal girl with beautiful hair, I'm like, oh, what product is that? Instead of
Right.
like, oh, it's, whatever celebrity. It's like, I know that's not me. Like, I'm never
Or even some brands that spend how many hours at a shoot to make their hair look so
Yeah.
perfect. No, you want the girl who's in her own bathroom,
Right.
doing her own hair and messing half of it up and
Yeah.
discovering how to do it and doing it.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember the YouTube channel? Your YouTube channel was so robust. And I think the internet too really helped the curl revolution, because
Yeah, absolutely.
like, I don't remember like reading Teen People when I was in middle school, like, oh, this is how you do curly hair. Like, I would have been like, what? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, now it's so much better now because of, you. So
And that's even better. Now it's going natural.
yeah. Yeah.
It
I'm a little
connects.
unnatural right now, but I've actually, because of quarantine, I think I wanna go get rid of the braids for a little while. Go
Really?
natural. Yeah.
Let's talk about your braids. What made
Yeah.
you get them? You look fabulous.
So I just it was like over a year ago when I started getting it more regularly, but I just wanted a break for hair growth. My hair has actually grown so much since I just stopped manipulating it. Because for a while it was like getting to be a lot, and like I just wanted like a break. I wanted to give it like a nice, but it's like it's big now. It's
I can see some of the roots now where
yeah.
it's
Oh
grown.
yeah. The roots, yeah, the roots are showing.
But that's what makes it nice too, that contrast
It's like
to both.
fun. It's been fun, but I'm ready. I think I'm ready to get back to the real me in light of the situation here.
Everyone is you.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Well, so my last question, and I ask everyone this, and I didn't prep you on this one in advance because I like it to be like right, right on the spot. But how do you rest and restore yourself? And do you have any? I call them woo-woo practices. Like, do you like crystals, or do you burn sage, or meditate, or pray? Like, what's your place of solace and rest?
Two things. I love burning candles. So burning candles and just sitting very, very quiet and listening to it's all international instrumental music is very important to me. And another one is just walking on the beach alone. That recharges me completely, generates me. You know, I live on the beach 6 months a year, right on the water, and that's so important. That I worked my whole life to get that, and I'm fortunate I was able to do it. And that's what does it for me. I do burn sage once in a while, but I get up in the morning and the first thing I do before I even put coffee on, I light a candle. You know, the house has to be quiet, and then I just have the candle will be there. I'll have soft music in my ears, and I just have a cup of coffee, and that's how I start.
Do you tell Sandriel between hours of 6 and 8, don't make noise?
Actually, she's very good at it. She's very, very.
Good.
She is amazing with that. She sages her room. She does a lot of candles herself, and she's perfect in the morning because she doesn't want to be disturbed. If she's not off to work, you don't see her till probably 9 o'clock, and by then I'm ready on my bike, out doing my exercise.
Yeah. Oh, this is sweet. I love you guys are roommates.
It's really nice. You know, I was fearful of it at the beginning, and now it's so wonderful. And she's a great roommate.
Yeah.
She's a great roommate, and I'm glad that. I can't imagine if she was in her own in her apartment right now without any income coming in. You know, everybody's thank God that she's here. We could help her out this way.
Totally, it's such a tough time, especially the beauty industry has been hit so hard. You guys are just
well, my book when the book comes out, so it's My Core World, and it's going to be on Amazon. And this is not a sales pitch because every single book that sells, all the proceeds. It's costing me to make it, and I'm okay with that. All the proceeds, 100% will go to Pearls for Cure right into BCRL. You help eradicate breast cancer.
Well, I'm definitely going to buy a copy, and I will also link below a link to Ouidad's book when it comes out as well, so you guys can buy copies.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much, Ouidad. I appreciate your time as always. She's always, every time I've asked her, like, hey, can you do this, or can you help me with this, or what's your advice on this? She's always been there. She's just the best, and I'm so grateful to have worked for you and to work for your brand and be inspired and learn so much. So I hope that all of you out there are just as inspired as I am by Ouidad. So thanks so much for coming.
Adama, thank you so much. Really, most important is like, look how beautiful you are, how lucky we were to have you be part of us. And that's what makes the people, and that's what makes the world, and that's what makes the fabric. So I'm grateful to you, and I am here for you anytime.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the LILITH series. Don't forget, you can check out all of Ouidad's links. I'm going to put them below. And don't forget, if you love this series, like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell to get an alert every time I upload a new video. Thank you all, and I hope you all have an amazing evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.